A woman pretends to have a secret child from a past relationship to test if her rich boyfriend would still love and accept her. In the heart of Charleston, South Carolina, 29-year-old Evelyn Harper, olive-skinned, long chestnut curls, always impeccably dressed in soft blouses and pencil skirts, stood on the balcony of her apartment, staring at the city lights below. Her heart was full of questions. Was Liam truly in love with her, or just the idea of her? Liam Westwood, 34, was the city's most talked-about entrepreneur. Tall, fair-skinned with jet black hair and piercing blue eyes, he exuded confidence and charm, always dressed in tailored suits and expensive watches. Their relationship had grown fast, too fast. They had met at a gallery event just 10 months earlier, and he was already talking about engagement. But Evelyn's past wasn't glamorous. Raised in foster care, she had no family fortune or name. She worked hard to get where she was. A tiny voice inside her whispered, "Would he still love you if you didn't fit the image?" Her best friend Tasha, dark-skinned, short, bold with a pixie cut and always in bright bohemian dresses, watched her pace. "You're really thinking of doing it?" Tasha asked. Evelyn nodded slowly. "I need to know if he's in this for love or the illusion." Evelyn set her plan in motion. It started with a quiet dinner at Liam's favorite rooftop restaurant. The ambiance was perfect, candlelight, string music, the soft hum of the city below. Liam, dressed in a charcoal suit, reached across the table to take her hand. "There's something on your mind, Evie," he said gently. Evelyn hesitated. Her heart pounded. "There's something I've never told you about my past." Liam's eyes didn't waver. "You can tell me anything." She looked down. "Before I moved to Charleston, I was in a relationship. It ended badly. But I have a son. His name is Noah. He's 6. Liam blinked once. Then again. His hand stiffened just slightly before he quickly masked it with a soft smile. "You have a child?" Evelyn nodded. "I didn't want to scare you off, but I had to be honest before things went further." There it was, the first part of the test, but the weight in her chest was heavier than expected. "Evie," Liam said slowly, "that's a lot to take in, but I'm still here. I'm not running." Evelyn smiled faintly, but her eyes were clouded. The test had just begun. Tasha was furious. "You're dragging a fake kid into this, girl. This is next level," she said, pacing Evelyn's apartment, her hoop earrings swaying furiously. Evelyn held up a photo of a child she found through a stock photo site. Light brown hair, hazel eyes, adorable gap-toothed smile. "He's just a placeholder. Liam won't meet him. You're risking a lot. This isn't just a test anymore. This is a trap." But Evelyn was determined. She crafted the story, a co-parenting situation with an ex who lived out of state. Visits were rare. Noah stayed with relatives during school breaks. Just enough detail to feel real. That weekend she left children's books on her shelves, a small Spider-Man backpack by the door, and a framed photo of Noah on the mantel. Liam came over that Sunday. His gaze fell on the backpack immediately, then the photo. "Is that Noah?" he asked. Evelyn nodded. "He loves superheroes." Liam smiled genuinely. "I'll have to brush up on my Marvel knowledge then." Evelyn's heart squeezed. The lie had landed, but at what cost? Over the next few weeks, Liam began bringing up Noah in casual conversation. What's his favorite food? Does he like dogs? Would he want to go to the zoo? Evelyn, now deep in her deception, had to improvise constantly. Her stories grew more elaborate. How Noah loved pancakes, had a fear of clowns, and once tried to teach his teddy bear how to swim. Liam listened intently, his eyes full of admiration. He even brought over a small toy airplane for Noah next time he visits. But Evelyn started to notice something else. Her own guilt creeping in. The more Liam showed signs of warmth and commitment, the harder it became to live inside the lie. Tasha warned her again. "You're not just testing Liam anymore, Evie. You're testing yourself." Evelyn brushed it off, but a part of her knew Tasha was right. Still, she pressed on. The test wasn't over yet. When Liam invited her to a family event and said, "You should bring Noah too, my niece would love to meet him," Evelyn panicked. She stammered something about her ex not allowing public appearances. Liam seemed disappointed. Just for a second, and that second stung. The lie grew heavier when someone from Evelyn's real past appeared, Mark Denton, her ex from college. Broad-shouldered, tan with sandy hair and a knowing grin, he approached her at the grocery store like nothing had changed. Evelyn Harper, wow, still as beautiful as ever. They caught up for a few minutes and she could feel Liam watching from across the aisle. He walked over moments later, arms sliding protectively around her waist. "This is Liam Westwood, my boyfriend," she introduced quickly. Mark raised an eyebrow. "Lucky guy. Evelyn's a rare one. Hope she's told you everything about her past." Liam glanced at Evelyn. "We've talked. A lot." Mark smirked and walked away. "Hope so." Back at her apartment, Liam asked, "That was Mark, the one you said was Noah's father?" Evelyn nodded too quickly. "Yeah, just surprised to see him." But now Liam had a face to go with the fiction. Evelyn had crossed another line and knew it. Her test was starting to become a minefield. The next hurdle came when Liam's sister Claire invited Evelyn to brunch. Claire was kind but sharp, a single mother herself, and had always been protective of Liam. The brunch was cozy but laced with subtle interrogations. "So you have a 6-year-old?" Claire asked with a polite smile. "Must be hard balancing motherhood and a relationship." Evelyn nodded, stirring her coffee carefully. "It is, but Liam's support makes it easier." Claire tilted her head. "You don't have pictures on your phone. Most mothers I know have hundreds." Evelyn's stomach twisted. "I don't keep many. Privacy reasons. His father's not thrilled about me sharing photos." Claire didn't press, but the suspicion was obvious. Liam didn't seem to notice. He was too busy chatting with his niece. But Evelyn knew Claire wasn't convinced. Back at Liam's place, he wrapped his arms around her. "Claire likes you," he said. Evelyn forced a smile. "I'm glad." But inside she felt the walls closing in. Every step forward deepened the illusion, and the risk of exposure. She lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if the truth would ever see the light of day, or if she'd already buried herself in a hole too deep to escape. 2 months after the lie began, Liam's behavior shifted subtly. He grew quieter, more introspective, often watching Evelyn when she thought he wasn't. Then, one night over dinner, he dropped a hint. "I've been thinking about us," he said, his voice low. "About the future. I want something real, something lasting." Evelyn's heart skipped. Was this the moment? Was he planning to propose? Her breath caught. "That's sweet. I'm serious, Evie. I see you as part of my life. And I want Noah to feel that too, if that's okay with you." The weight of the lie was unbearable in that moment. Her heart should have soared, but instead it sank like an anchor. She nodded, playing along. Yes, he'd love that. But later that night she broke down in tears on her bathroom floor. Tasha's warnings echoed in her mind. She had tested Liam's love, and he had passed every part of it. But what would he do when he learned there was no Noah? She wasn't testing his love anymore. She was gambling with it. To keep up the ruse, Evelyn told Liam that Noah's birthday was approaching. It was a casual remark, one she hoped would slide past unnoticed. But Liam took it to heart. "I'd love to plan something for him. A surprise party maybe. Kids love that kind of thing." Evelyn panicked. "Oh no, it's okay. His aunt is throwing something small back in North Carolina." Liam tilted his head. "Are you sure? I was really looking forward to meeting him." Evelyn tried to smile. "Another time, I promise," but she could feel the trust beginning to waver. Liam's excitement dimmed. She had created a boy he had grown to care about, without realizing he'd attached to the idea so completely. She fabricated a birthday card Noah had written and left it on her coffee table. Liam found it the next day. He read it slowly, then looked at her with soft eyes. "He seems like a sweet kid. I can't wait to meet him." Evelyn didn't reply. She couldn't. One afternoon, Evelyn stood before her mirror and studied the woman staring back. The elegant blouse, the flawless curls, the practiced smile, all masks. Behind it all was a woman drowning in self-doubt and regret. She had wanted to test Liam's heart, but now her own was in question. Tasha came over and found her pacing. "You have to tell him, Evie, before someone else finds out, before you lose the man who actually cares." "I don't know how," Evelyn admitted. "He'll hate me. He'll feel betrayed. Maybe he'll understand why you did it." Evelyn sank onto the couch. "What if this ruins everything?" Tasha's voice softened. "Then at least it ends honestly." That night, Evelyn picked up her phone and started typing a message. "We need to talk. Tomorrow, my place. Please come alone." She stared at the text for minutes before finally pressing send. She didn't sleep at all. The next evening Liam arrived. He was dressed simply, white button-down jeans, but his expression was anything but casual. He sensed the gravity before stepping inside. Evelyn greeted him with red-rimmed eyes. "There's something I have to confess," she began. "Something I should have said from the start." Liam stood silently, his brow furrowed. "There is no Noah," she said. The silence that followed felt like an earthquake. "I made him up. I wanted to see if your love was real, or if it would disappear if things weren't perfect." Liam stepped back, his face unreadable. "You lied, for months." "I did," Evelyn whispered. "And I regret it every day, but I had to know." His voice was quiet but sharp. "You tested my love by giving me a child to care for, a child who doesn't even exist." Tears welled in her eyes. "I fell in love with you, but I didn't think someone like you could ever love the real me." Liam looked away. "You should have given me the chance." He turned and walked out the door without another word. Evelyn collapsed to the floor. The test was over, and she had failed. The silence after Liam left was deafening. Evelyn sat curled on the floor, her body trembling, the weight of months of deception crashing down all at once. She had rehearsed that conversation dozens of times in her head, but nothing had prepared her for the reality of it. Tasha arrived shortly after, letting herself in with the spare key. "He left?" she asked softly. Evelyn nodded, tears staining her cheeks. "He didn't yell, he didn't scream, he just left." "That's worse," Tasha whispered. For the next few days Evelyn avoided the world. She ignored texts, skipped work and barely ate. Her apartment felt like a museum of her lie. Spider-Man backpack, toy airplane, the fake birthday card. Every object a reminder of the pain she had caused. She finally took it all down. Carefully, she boxed up everything that hinted at Noah and placed it in her closet, like burying a memory that never truly existed. And then came the worst part. Liam didn't call, not once. She began to wonder if she had lost not just his love, but his respect, and perhaps that was even more painful. By the following week, the whispers had begun. Claire, Liam's sister, had apparently heard the truth from Liam. Soon, Evelyn's phone lit up with passive-aggressive texts from acquaintances and people who had once called her friend. "You really pretended to have a kid. Who does that? Did you think he wouldn't find out?" Wow, talk about manipulative. Evelyn stared at the screen, numb. Her private mistake had become a public scandal, at least within Liam's social circle. And because Liam was so prominent in Charleston's elite scene, Evelyn felt her reputation unraveling with every new glance of judgment on the street. Even her boss called her in for a chat about keeping personal drama out of professional spaces. It was more than humiliation, it was exile. Tasha tried to comfort her, reminding her that people forget, that reputations heal, but Evelyn couldn't help feeling like she had burned the only bridge that ever truly led to something real. Still, a voice inside her insisted, "You did this. You lied. Now own it." And so, for the first time, Evelyn began to reflect, not on Liam's reaction, but on why she ever felt she needed to lie in the first place. A week later, Evelyn found herself back at her old community center, the one she used to volunteer at before meeting Liam. She'd stopped going months ago, too swept up in his world of charity galas and luxury. She sat on a bench outside watching kids run across the playground. One of the staff members, Mrs. Fenley, approached. "Evelyn Harper, as I live and breathe, haven't seen you in a while." "I got distracted," Evelyn admitted with a hollow smile. Mrs. Fenley, a short gray-haired woman with a gentle voice, sat beside her. "Distraction can be dangerous when you forget who you are." Evelyn nodded, staring at a boy on the swing, about 6 years old, his laughter echoing in the air. "I made up a child to test someone's love," Evelyn confessed softly. "And I lost everything." Mrs. Fenley didn't flinch. "Sometimes we lie because we believe the truth isn't enough. But the people who truly love us, they don't need perfection." Evelyn exhaled. "I think I wanted to be someone worth keeping, and I didn't believe I was." "Well," Mrs. Fenley smiled kindly, "maybe it's time you started believing." That night, Evelyn finally began writing a letter. To Liam, no excuses, no begging, just the truth. Evelyn's pen moved slowly, every word carefully considered. She didn't ask for forgiveness, she didn't try to justify her actions. Instead, she poured her heart onto paper. She wrote about fear of being abandoned, of not being enough. About how the illusion of Noah wasn't meant to manipulate, but to measure something she didn't have the courage to face, her own insecurity. She wrote about Liam, how deeply she admired his generosity, his warmth, his ability to love without hesitation, how she saw in him the kind of unconditional affection she had always craved but never trusted. And at the end, she wrote the one sentence that cost her the most. "You deserved the truth from the start, and I am sorry that I didn't believe your love could survive it." She signed it simply, Evelyn. She didn't send the letter immediately. She kept it folded on her nightstand for 3 days, unsure if it would make things better or worse. But on the 4th day, she walked to Liam's building, heart pounding, and handed it to the doorman. "Please make sure Mr. Westwood receives this." The doorman nodded, and with that, Evelyn turned and walked away, uncertain if the door she had just closed would ever open again. 4 days passed, then 5. On the 6th morning, Evelyn's phone rang while she was cleaning her kitchen. The number was familiar, but it made her freeze in place. "Liam." Her hand trembled as she answered. "Hello," his voice was quiet. "I got your letter." Evelyn swallowed hard. "Okay." There was a pause. "Can we talk?" he asked. Face to face, no assumptions, no defenses, just truth. Tears sprang to her eyes. Yes, of course, they agreed to meet that afternoon at their favorite coffee shop, the same place they had gone after their 3rd date, a place filled with happy memories now laced with nerves. When Evelyn arrived, Liam was already there, sitting at the back corner, 2 coffees on the table. He stood when he saw her. "Hi," he said softly. "Hi," she replied, and for the first time in weeks there was no pretense between them. Just 2 people, flawed, scared, hopeful, ready to have the conversation that could break them forever or rebuild everything. Evelyn sat down slowly, her fingers curling around the warm coffee cup Liam had ordered for her. The smell of roasted beans and cinnamon lingered in the air, but her nerves drowned out everything else. Liam looked tired, his usual sharp posture now soft, his blue eyes no longer piercing but contemplative. "I've thought a lot about what you said in the letter," he began, his voice calm but heavy, "and I've felt a lot of things." Evelyn nodded, unsure if she should speak yet. "I was angry," he admitted, "confused, hurt. You made me care about something that wasn't real. That's not easy to move past." "I know," she whispered. "But I also asked myself, why would someone like you, smart, kind, beautiful, feel like they had to create a lie to test me?" He paused. "And I realized, this wasn't about me. Not really." Evelyn's eyes welled with tears. "It wasn't. It was about me not trusting that love could exist without conditions." Liam leaned back in his seat. "That doesn't make what you did okay, but it does make it human." They sat in silence for a few moments. Then, softly, he asked, "What would the real Evelyn look like if she stopped pretending?" She blinked back the tears. "She's sitting right here." They didn't kiss. They didn't declare their love in a sweeping gesture. They just talked, honestly, for hours. Evelyn spoke about her childhood in the foster system, about growing up always waiting for people to leave, about the need to test love before accepting it, about her shame. Liam listened, really listened. And then he shared too, about his own fears, the pressure to maintain an image, to never show vulnerability, how her lies shook him not because it was cruel but because it reminded him of his own insecurities. By the time the coffee shop closed, they both felt lighter. Outside, under the soft amber glow of the streetlights, Liam looked at her and said, "I don't know where we go from here, but I'm willing to find out, if you are." Evelyn nodded. "No more tests, just truth." He smiled gently. "That's a start." They didn't hold hands, they didn't rush into each other's arms, but they walked side by side into the night, two imperfect people, finally brave enough to stop pretending. The weeks that followed weren't smooth. Liam didn't jump back into the relationship. He kept his distance at times, needing space to heal. But he didn't cut Evelyn off. They spoke often, slowly rebuilding what had been shattered. Evelyn made a conscious effort to live without pretense. She resumed volunteering at the community center, started therapy, and even shared her story with a support group for women who struggled with trust and self-worth. Tasha noticed the change. "You're finally letting people in without asking them to pass a test first." Evelyn smiled. "Turns out love doesn't need a trap to be proven. It just needs honesty." Liam attended one of her group's open meetings one evening. He listened to her speak, raw, unrehearsed, and something shifted in him again. Later he took her out for ice cream. "Noah would have loved chocolate chip," he joked. Evelyn laughed, genuinely this time. "He would have. He was adorable, inside my imagination." They both laughed then together, and for the first time, laughter didn't feel like a mask, it felt like healing. Months passed. By winter, Liam and Evelyn were officially together again. No fanfare, no announcements. Just two people walking forward with open hearts. Then one chilly December night, Liam invited her to dinner at the same rooftop restaurant where her original lie began. He was nervous this time. "I've been thinking," he said, holding her hands. "We've been through something no romance novel would dare write." Evelyn grinned. "They wouldn't touch us with a pen, but I want the mess, the real, the imperfect truth of you." He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small box. "But only if you're ready to walk this path without lies, without tests, and with the belief that love, real love, is enough." Inside the box was a delicate ring. Not extravagant, not flashy, simple and honest. Evelyn covered her mouth, tears filling her eyes. "I'm ready," she said. More than ever. He slipped the ring on her finger. This time there were no secrets, just love. Evelyn Harper, once so afraid to be seen, to be known, stood before a room full of women months later at the community center, now a guest speaker. She spoke of fear, of lies, of the false belief that people only stay if you trick them into proving their love. She told them about the fake sun, the fallout, and the painful but beautiful rebuilding that followed. "Love doesn't need tests," she said. "It needs courage, and the hardest courage is letting someone love the truth of you." Liam was in the back row, listening, smiling. Not because she had become someone else, but because she had finally embraced who she had always been. After her talk, he joined her at the front. They stood together, hand in hand, stronger not despite their past, but because of it. Evelyn had once created a child to test love. Now she was ready to create a life built on truth. And this time, the only test was time and trust. If you enjoyed this story about love, fear, and redemption, don't forget to subscribe for more emotional journeys that tug at your heart and leave you inspired.